Thoughts and prayers. There's nothing wrong with them. They're cool. I mean, literally, they're innocuous. And they're expressing how much you want something to be better or whatnot. That's the general idea. But I'm not about the general idea. I'm usually about how something gets used and weaponized, and how we can just fall for this trickery. So I try to exploit this so you can find your way out and then use it for what it was meant to be. Clear the fog, see the road ahead, and travel it properly. That's all I ever care to do. So, thoughts and prayers, I'm not going to sit here and crap all over that. Not like you think. Because what it's meant for, I'm all about it. In terms of, I'm an ally for that. I'm not a religious person. I'm practically anti-religious. But well wishes, decency, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not gonna jump all on that. No. But instead, what I want to do is I want to point out something of my life and then something of everybody's life. Something that we have all been privy to see, something we've all been privy to watch, experience, and then outright ignore the devastation of it. So growing up, and this is short, growing up, I heard, look, this person's gone through this, they have our thoughts and prayers. I didn't know what that meant. I just thought it was some church stuff, and I didn't care about church stuff. Just didn't care. I thought it was all fake anyway. So I never went against that, but I never said it either. I'm like, well, they got thoughts and prayers and whatnot. We're thinking about you and we're hoping that you get better. I'm not going to down that. And even when I was 9.5, I'm like, I'm not going to down that. Even when I was 8 and outright angry about hearing it, but I didn't know why I was angry. So I'm not going to sit here and voice anything or make anything concrete. But I'm like, I can't go against it because it's not harmful. Not that I could see. Okay, cool. So after a while, I got into my mid to late teens. That's when I realized thoughts and prayers at the time, it meant we are not going to financially help these people. We can direct them to food drives and things like that, but they're on their own. We give you our thoughts because we'll think about you from time to time, and we'll pray for you. We'll be quiet and probably think about food, taxes, and things like that. These are things you get to hear in those conversations where people don't think that you're listening, or they think you're not around the corner, bored, and your ears can't help but pick up the words that they are saying. And it's been going on like this since I was, I think, I just turned 7. It wasn't even out of February when I was hearing this, and I turned 7. So I got to hear this, and I got to hear these people say these things, which is why I thought it was fake. So it's not just blind thought, it's going on compare and contrast. You hear these, and I was learning this at the time, the compare and contrast. I thought it just sounded really cool. They were the longest phrases I'd ever heard. I thought it was the greatest thing. Next, and then I learned the word enlightenment after that, a couple of years after that. But compare and contrast was amazing. So let me listen and compare that to what I've heard. That's all that was. What am I hearing? Now let me compare that to what I have heard. Now let me contrast the two and see what's real, and neither seems to be completely real. But you get to hear these people laughing and stuff. Oh yeah, we prayed for him, but you know how he was. Well, yeah, we all cared about sister such and such. Ain't nobody go and help her. That's what we were literally hearing that. Well, we cared about it. Ain't nobody go over there and help her. You know how she get. So why are we so fake in the most supposed truthful building on the planet? I know there are lots of them springing up like McDonald's. I understood that, but still, you build it in the name of, therefore, be honest, don't lie, don't steal, don't hurt one another, but it's all fake. So now let's fast forward. Let's fast forward. All of a sudden, we get to hear later while people are in the, and it sucks, and I hated it, but I'm sitting here like, okay, people in general are being gunned down by cops. And all I ever got to hear when there was something done was, you have our thoughts, you have our prayers. You have our thoughts and prayers. Okay, no problem. You can't do anything for somebody that's 1,000 miles away. So, yeah, you can do a thoughts and prayers. It's cool. I'm not against that. But then something happened. Something epic happened. People, and it sucks that I have to say it this way because I don't want to politicize it. I don't. But you can't ignore what group of people are saying what and what group of people are not saying what. But I'm just going to say more on the progressive, and not all of them, but progressive side of politics. We're saying, can we stop the thoughts and prayers and do something about this? Can we get different police policy? Can we stop the police abusing people? Can we stop the police from shooting people in general that are not being harmful to anybody? Can we just stop that? Can we get something to say, you people, stop killing these people just because you want to be afraid, or you say that you're afraid, or you think you might be afraid? Can you stop being meerkats with machine guns and actually just take a look and assess something? And at that moment, this is when it goes under everybody's radar. That's when people start getting gunned down. And you got people that were on the left and people that were on the right. And every time somebody got gunned down, they would say, thoughts and prayers. Every time. Thoughts and prayers. They would just say that. And it made no sense to me. And I started to dislike it. I noticed that before anyone else did, but I didn't know exactly how to piece that, because it's like, well, because I'm trying to be naive. Maybe they really mean thoughts and prayers. They're just something that you should listen to. But it won't. They were using it to troll. I got to admit, that hurt. You know, people are getting murdered by the cops, and instead of let's fix the police, it's thoughts and prayers. And they kept, it's one thing when you hear it, the police are wrong, but these people got our thoughts and prayers. It's not that, it's, they would just put hashtag thoughts and prayers. Or they would just put in capital letters, thoughts and prayers. That was the problem. It's all about tone. It's if someone kisses you on the forehead and say, I love you, I'll be back home soon. It's a big difference when you was like, you kind of beat on me. You slit my throat last night. And be like, I love you. You're like, no, please. Can you stop the hurting of me? You know, can you just tell me you love me? You know, that kind of thing. And instead of, you know, they don't necessarily change. Everything just come and punch you in the chest, love you, and leave. There's a big difference. There's a massive difference between those I love yous. And they keep hitting you, love you, and walk away. You know they don't love you. You're just a punching bag. And that's what these people that were getting murdered were. They were punching bags for societies, LOL, to stick it. And it sucks because you got people on the right and on the left doing this, but it was the people on the right that was owning the people on the left. But the people that was on the left was owning the progressives. So you got the right beating the hell out of the left and the left beating the hell out of the further left. And the furthest left was saying, can you just stop the abuse? That's what hurt a lot. That hurt. And I was thinking, is there any hope for society? And let's fast forward just a little bit. Let's get past this and let's go to the healthcare crisis. The numbers that came in socially when you had 1,000 dead, 5,000, 15,000, 20, 35, 50,000, 70,000, 75,000, 100,000, 150, 200,000, and it kept rising. And every time someone died or groups of people died, thoughts and prayers. When the message presented by, more or less, if you want to call it the left, what did they say? Wear a mask, stay inside. If you have to go out, keep your mask on, wear gloves. Because they didn't know, is it contagious like the common cold where if you touch the surface that's infected that you get it? Or is it airborne and on the surface if you touch it? They find out that it's actually both. It's airborne and it's on the surface, which I knew way before they did. Because you can't infect that many people if it's only one way. These people were infected immediately, quickly. 5 days, you got symptoms, and they kind of go away. The next 5 days, you're messed up. The next 5 days, you're dying and dead. That was the pattern. I saw that pattern within 3 months. I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to do anything. Nothing. I wanted to stay inside. And honestly, all I do is stay inside because of my illness. So I was already prepared. I was already prepared for this pandemic. But these other people that can't hack that kind of lifestyle, they can't deal with the thought of, I have to be a sick and shut in. That's a church term. The sick and shut in. You don't come to church and infect us all. You stay home. God would want you to stay home and get better and then come back. That's what he would want. That's where that term came from. And that's what people had done for hundreds of years. You get sick, you stay home. But this, just like the Kansas flu, they didn't want to stay inside. It's just something about humans that say, let's be as stupid as we can and make every excuse to stay that way. But I get people can't stay inside and they got to do something. They're extroverts. They got to blossom. But instead of saying that, they create as many conspiracies as they can. And they do this while 10,000 more die, and 10,000 more, and 10,000 more. All these thousands of people dying in an extreme short amount of time, and yet they say this whole thing is fake, it's made up, it's not real. Okay. I understand you want what you want, but not at the detriment of so many others. And that's why I call these people evil, and they should be locked up. They are the ones that should have contracted this and died instead of those that wanted to do right. That's why. Switch it and more people would be alive. That's how I see that. You have an argument against it, I'm willing to listen. But here's the thing. Thoughts and prayers kept ringing in the air. Boom, boom. And that's all it was. And that's messed up. People, hundreds of thousands of people are dead. 600,000. Now, at this current, I know that for the past, I would say 8 months, when I would do a video, I would say 700,000 plus people. I only said that because I knew we would get there. That's the only reason why I was saying it. Now we are legitimately over 730,000 people. We are close to 1 million people in the United States of America from being dead from a virus that kept trying to not be here. That's what's messed up. This virus tries to die and we will not let it. And then now it's trying to find a way to live. And all that anyone will shout out is thoughts and prayers to those that's dead. Give me your thoughts and prayers, even though I didn't want the vaccine. I didn't want to cover up. I didn't want to wash up, glove up, or anything. And now I'm dying. But please give me your thoughts and prayers. We thought about you. And for those that do, we prayed for you. And you still didn't listen. And now you're dying. And still not listening. And then you got those that die and say, I wish I took it serious. But all that they will get are thoughts and prayers. Because thoughts and prayers does not mean anymore that we care. It's just saying we're not changing. We've owned you. We're still out here, and we're going to be jackwads, and there's nothing you can do about it because we have the freedom to do so. That's it. And it sucks. It sucks that it's like that. I would like to be able to take my daughter out and go places on days that I'm well enough to do so. Sadly, today is just not one of them, nor was the past 7 days. But every once in a blue moon, I get a chance to be like, man, I can probably go out for about 45 minutes. 3 days ago, it was disheartening to me because I made a paper airplane and threw it, and it just sailed across the room, dive bombed on my bed, and then my baby girl saying, hey, Dad, it'd be real cool. We could go out, to that big church ground or something and throw the airplanes. Because I told her, she go outside and throw an airplane the way I make them, you're not going to get it back. It's going to go into someone's yard, up on the roofs, across the street to where these unmasked people are working on construction and whatnot, building homes. Or it might sail way, way away. That's how I make them. And I really wished I could take her out to, there's a couple of parks. There's one that's really open space. I mean, it's great if you got electronic model airplanes, gas powered and whatnot. It's great for that. It's beautiful. It's like 3 times the size of a soccer field. It's awesome. I would love to go there and just throw paper airplanes with her, various kinds, and show her what to do. Can't do that because of a pandemic. I got type 2 diabetes. I got some kind of intestinal problem. I'm overweight like crazy. I'm about I thought I was 318. I'm down to 312. I got high blood pressure. I can't risk getting COVID. I can't. I can't. If I get it, and I'm vaccinated. I mean, I could die getting COVID, or I could get the vaccination and die and realize, wait a minute, if the vaccination was killing, wouldn't everyone that's taking it have been killed? Wouldn't they be messed up? But those that's not vaccinated, they're dying in droves. But everyone who's getting it, they get a little sick and then they recover. Kind of like the flu vaccination. Everyone wants to get a flu vaccination. And up to about 20 years ago, people was begging for the cure to the common cold. Now nobody cares about anything except for owning another tribe. Thoughts and prayers don't even mean thoughts and prayers. It just simply means we got you this time. And that's what sucks. I give well wishes. I give hope. Yeah, go ahead, talk, man. If you want to say something, go ahead. Hopefully I got it turned up so that I can hear you.
Can I be heard?
Whoa! There you go. Yeah, that's MrPony, y'all.
Hey, yeah, I keep on hearing the thoughts and prayers thing, and well, for some people, it's just easier. Some people just can't find a solution or don't want a solution, so they just say, here's my thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true. Some people are like, what do I do? What can I say? How can I help? All I can give you is my thoughts and prayers, which is in the beginning that you weren't here for. That's what I'm like. That's why it's cool with me. I don't have a problem with thoughts and prayers, but I have a problem with people that weaponize it and use it to own somebody else.
Yeah, that does get very annoying so much. And I also heard the things about you not being able to go out. You see, it might be raining now, but the nieces I have here, even though they're not vaccinated at the moment, they can still come outside. They can have dogs to play with. We have a large yard and not near people.
Yeah, that's a favorable spot. If you're not vaccinated, and you don't want to get vaccinated. Huh?
Actually, I did take my 2 vaccines.
Oh, you got them?
Yeah, if you want, later I can show you the picture, show the 2 shots I got.
Oh, hey, talk about when you got the vaccine. Was it Moderna?
I don't know. I don't know. I got it from a Walmart. I was trying to get the vaccine from my own doctor, but I got pressured by a lot of people in Carlzilla's server, so I got it a bit earlier than I wanted to. Which is probably for the best, because the doctor appointments keep on getting moved back constantly for some reason.
Yeah, sometimes it's, well, are you young? Are you healthy? They say, yeah, for those that are higher risk, they put them ahead of you. That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
And I don't blame that. But yeah, for those that are not vaccinated, if you're not vaccinated and it's just an isolated area and there's not much of a risk for you getting it and you just got open field to play with, you know, your animals or work on something around the house, then you don't have to be vaccinated. But if you're going to go around other people, at least put a mask on. That's what anyone was saying. You're going to go out, put a mask on.
Especially when they have certain things like compromised immune systems and cancer.
Yes. Just recently, there was this Surgeon General, I think in Florida, who went in and was talking, and this woman says, I'm recovering, you know, I have stage 1 breast cancer that I'm fighting and recovering from. Can you please go put on the mask? I'm immunocompromised. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And this is a Surgeon General doing this. You know, that people like that, I think, should be locked up. If you are going to, that's a danger. That's manslaughter. Because if he gets her infected, if he has it, if he has COVID and gets her infected and she dies, that's no different than being drunk behind the wheel of a car and running over 4 people.
It's unfortunate, but with some people, they basically have their own logic. I'm going to assume that in the Attorney General's case, he's like, all right, I am constantly outside a lot or some other things. So he's like, I lost my train of thought there.
It's all right. It's all right. Look.
But it just something about it.
It's look. What I'm gonna say is there's some, and it's on your train of thought what you was going on. There's some people that will be told, hey, look, you got to step out. You got to put on the mask and then come in here. You know, put on a decent, proper mask and come in here. And it's not that it's let me buck the system, let me defy you. But what happens is one of two things. Either the first, which is the worst, is I planned this moment just to be a jerk, or I made a mistake. I do have my mask on me, but now I feel humiliated and I got to stand up against that because I don't know what else to do. So it's a weird fight or flight situation, you know? And so it's like, you know, I'm a little embarrassed, you know, you're gonna make me look stupid. You know what? I don't have to wear a mask. You know, what about my freedom? And they just start doing that stuff. That's what usually happens.
Or a possible third option being based off the studies they got. Some people might have different studies than other people. Some people might believe, hey, this study works well and this study doesn't. It's more like a case-by-case basis. Like, in some cases, like, oh, you need 2 masks and it'll work. But for other cases, like, no, 2 masks don't work. It just confuses people so often that, yeah, it gets confusing.
Yeah, but that situation, I know the history of that, the 2 mask, 3 and 4 mask thing. I know the history of that. That was people saying wearing a mask isn't going to help because you can still breathe, and I get that. But then they were saying I can't breathe with a mask. So then there were multiple videos made of people wearing more than 1 mask saying you can breathe just fine. And this might predate you a bit. This might. But it's
to be fair, I did have trouble wearing a mask most of the time, but I still persisted.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna ask you why, but I gotta get this out. It's weird, but some people that are roughly my age will get it immediately. But back in the day, in the 80s and early 90s, people that was the condom craze, okay? Wear a condom, put on a condom. And some will say, man, some people say, I put on 2. I put on 2 condoms. You're not getting me messed up. So it kind of stems from that mindset. And there was people in that age range of 35 and up that started this multiple mask thing. So that's where that stuff stems from. Wearing a mask. Oh, look, I recently had a colonoscopy, not just a few days ago. And I've been sick for about a month or so. Straight up burning in the center of my chest, right there near the sternum and things like that. Lung capacity dropped a lot. So I'm in there in this hospital in cold air where I don't need to be. And that exacerbates any of my symptoms. So I am, and you can hear the subtle wheezing and stuff. I am out of breath. And I had on 2 masks at a moment. I had an old one on, the one that I came in with, and then the yellow one that they gave me. And I had them on, and I could breathe just fine. And it actually helped more for my illness because I was breathing in my own warm air, which warmed everything up, which made me breathe easier. But sadly, when your own air is trapped, and this is what happens with some of the people that wear masks, when your air is trapped with you, you're breathing back in some of that CO2. And that will give you a sensation of suffocation, of slow suffocation. And you just take your mask off. I can't do this. I can't wear this mask. I'm suffocating here. And that's what happens. So it's like basically when you go out, wear your mask until you get in your car. You get out the car, you wear your mask, you get in, you get your stuff, you get back. Breathe comfortable. Breathe, just breathe normal. Get your stuff and leave wearing your mask. And you'll mostly be all right. Make sure, if your mask is below your nose but over your mouth, it's not, no, you're not going to breathe well. You just won't. You have to have it over your nose. Use that wire strip to pinch it over your nose to give yourself that extra breathing room inside the mask. And then you can breathe regularly without a single problem. That's how I wear my mask.
Hey.
I can hear you.
Yes, I was waiting for you to continue.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. The thoughts and prayers thing. I was sitting here brooding while working on Pain and Agony Wrestling and whatnot, and I was sitting here brooding, thinking about it, because a lot of people argue against it, but I'm like, y'all aren't really going over the history of why we even have it. That's what so I was like, I got to bring this up and stuff, and I'm going to try to be in this channel whenever I do something for comparative reasoning. So anyone out there, you can go to Discord, and if you want to just drop in, because I'm going to put up the topic that I'm undergoing, and then I'm going to jump into the chat room. I'm going to put it at everyone, so that's what I'm doing. Wait about 3 minutes or so, and then get started. That's what I'm going to start trying to do. It won't be every time, but I'm going to try. Is there anything else you want to say, Mr. Pony? Anything?
Nothing much.
Nothing much? All right. Because it's been about 28 minutes, and I know they're probably sick and tired of hearing my voice. So all I'm going to say is, this has been Cedric and Mr. Pony. It's been Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.